What's going on, guys? This is part 2 of the 1100 foot driveway job. This video is all about how I estimate and sold it. Some crucial things, so get a pen, get a paper, sit down and pay attention. This is very crucial and good free advice for you. If you want to get more in depth with stuff like this, check out Blue Car Launchpad, link below. Let's go. So when I go to sell a job, the first and foremost thing, I mean, this is day one stuff, I always think about how hard it's going to be to get equipment back here, how to unload. This road is very, very skinny. So I know how to drop in the road. So just, that's not, I guess, not necessarily a price point, but something to consider because it's dangerous. So unloading by yourself is very, very sketchy, but something that has to be done. But I always consider transportation. How far is it from where your equipment's sitting and all that stuff. So typically I will include like $250 for one machine there at home. Just for that machine to deliver at $250. For my skid steer to deliver it's $250. And I don't make that a line item. I just figure it when I'm doing my numbers. I add $250 for each machine. So in this situation, I hauled in 2 machines of my own. So I added in $500. As far as the actual scope of work, when you're walking the job, when you're walking the property, I drove this property, cutting the driveway like this, I always look like drainage there, drainage here, drainage there, where the drainage is going to be at. And I also look, if I take dirt from this side, where can it go to? Like, where can I add it to? And I'm always thinking about that. And then if there's trees that need to come out, how am I going to get that? Is there a safe angle? Is there a place to stack it? Can I burn it on site? I always ask these questions of customers. Those are 3 things: transportation of equipment, where's the spoils going to go, can I burn excess material. On a new construction site like this, ask about what other trades, where's the septic field going to go, where's your power potential going to go, is there a blueprint? Ask these questions. The more intel you can gather on the site, the more it's going to potentially help you. Because unlike most trades, once your excavation's in, like this driveway's in, it's not like a ductwork or HVAC duct run or an electrical line. I can't remove that simply. So when this is done, it has to be done well. So we walked this property. I walked the property with the homeowner. Basically said, what is your budget? Like, what do you want to spend? Do you want to have construction grade, shallow, like cheap driveway? Do you want done over or under? Like, what do you want, a good driveway or just to get you by? And he's like, I want done right. So I went and told him, here's what I would do. Originally, he wanted to go down below this little bench that we made. You see the white flags? So that's where he wanted the driveway at. Those white flags right now are not for that, but that's just what the electrical's gonna go now. But that's where he wanted the driveway all the way down here. He goes, it just seems easy. When I told him, dude, there's already a natural logging road here. Let's use it, let's fix the drainage. It's not that hard to do this job. Get your base lined out where you want to go. You have a discussion with your customer, agree to terms. This is where I want the driveway to go. This is how wide I want it to be. This is how thick I want my stone. Do you want to blacktop it? Do you want to concrete it? That's always a question I ask too. 9 times out of 10 in a driveway this long, if you're blacktopping it, you're probably Bill Gates. So it's not happening. But once you have it established, I measure from point A, and I walk where I'm going to walk with my wheel, and I measure all the way to where his garage is going to be. So he had his house staked out, and I wheeled it all the way back and measured it. And I got the handy iPhone out, went to my fancy gravel calculator. This website right here, I'll put the link in the bio. I calculated up. Always do 12 foot wide. Always do, that's a standard size driveway, 12 foot. 1100. Calculated that. It's 692 tons. Around here we have triaxles. Well, I use triaxles, not quad tracks. A triaxle holds 20 tons of stone on average. So all you do is you take that number and you go in your calculator, divide it by 20. That's how many trucks you're gonna have. And always add 20%, because any dip, valley, or place that pumps might need more stone. So always add more to be safe. And then that's how you get your gravel price. And then you figure out what machines would be best for the job. So in this case, like I explained in the other video, a dozer was me best to get the baseline built out. And as I was going, you can see, as we're cutting stuff up, I took some spoils from here and built a berm here, keep the water coming from here, and then I sloped everything else off that way. So all the material I cut down, but you can kind of tell right through that cut is, I brought this down quite a bit to get it level, because the original grade was like natural. I went 3 foot lower this way. So now the driveway has a good crown. I branched over and sloped it out. So I knew a dozer was going to be where I needed to be just by looking at the land. So figure out what machine you're going to need. For the driveway alone, I knew I needed a dozer. I knew I needed an excavator for the culverts, and I knew I needed to do a skid steer for a finish grade. It just makes it a lot easier. So then get on the phone, call your rental company, establish what it's going to take to rent a dozer for the day, and I would just go ahead and rent it for a week, because you never know what you're going to get into. So also establishing your drainage points. Like I knew here when I pulled in, like I talked about in the video, all that water coming down here to the lowest point, you can already see it, guys, where the water was going. So I knew I needed a culvert here. So then I measured, I went and got prices for culvert. I do need to get riprap to hold in erosion. So it's simple things. Just make sure you write down everything you're going to need while you're on the job site. So as I'm sitting here walking the property, in my mind, every drainage point needs culvert and it needs riprap to hold erosion. So it's right, you can figure the cost there. Just 2 points for that, and then eventually we're going to put a culvert in the road when construction's done. We're going to dig it up and put a culvert in the road once everything's established. So that's, I mean, really, it's not that. Getting your numbers dialed is the hard part, which we'll talk about that here in a second. On projects like this too, it's always, if you're not working off blueprints, you're working off what your customer wants and needs. Make sure you have it text, make sure you have it wrote down, it's in writing. Just make sure you really are all on the same page. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The more intel you can get from him, the better it is. So in this situation, the house is supposed to be right here, and actually moved it over 15 foot, or we moved it over 15 foot after we established the path. So in this video we're talking about, this is the driveway, we can talk about this a little bit too. So this was a change order, the pad was, and when we got to that point, I said, okay, it's on a video, my other video. I said, that's gonna be more money, but I can do it. And you know what, you have that in writing, a text, a mutual agreement, and you keep going on. But whenever I established this driveway, I went off where the house was gonna be. I knew the house was here, I knew the septic field was gonna be right here behind us. I knew where some stuff was, and that's how I knew the driveway was gonna go. Where I'm from, there is no, other than getting the culvert in the driveway, the initial start of the driveway, there's not really a permit you have to go off of. You just do as you see fit. So it was up to me to lay out what I consider the most efficient driveway. So if you look at the aerial shots, you can see how I almost used the existing ridge, or I came down and used the natural contour of land to make the safest part of the road. And if you can avoid it, try not to go up any straight, steep banks. Try to cut in the side and make it flow around, and I'll do that for water flow. Everything's for erosion control in that situation. This customer of mine is acting as his own GC, so far septic's in, house pad's in, well's going in, and then the builder should be starting in the next week or two, hopefully, if everything goes right. I always consider like the last, you're gonna have at least a day or two in a job like this, clean everything up. What I mean by that is like the grade work, go through, and then like on this job, I kept the whole right side that's built up for now because I'll walk off the hill. I don't know what's gonna do yet because all the stuff's grown up. So I kept the sides built up. And I'm gonna have a day come back through it later once all sundown and do finish. So I'll do the finish grade for around the house. I'll do a finish grade around everywhere else. That's what we agreed upon. But even with that though, I still took my sides on the left side where the water's going downhill and knocked those sides off so the water can flow freely down the hill. So I always consider at least one full day, maybe 2 days, depending on how big the project is. Cutting on your ditches, doing your final ditch work, and your finish grading. All right, so just thought about something. My squirrel brain. Whenever you are bending these gravel driveway jobs, calculate how far the quarry is from the job site, and calculate how long the turn time is going to be getting shown back and forth, and I'll tell you how long it's going to take for trucks to get point A to point B. The more trucks you use, the more it's going to cost, obviously, for haul bill, but it goes quicker. I personally use one guy only locally, so it took me a long time to get all the trucks there. But I use him because we have a relationship. In some kind of situation, you don't have time, and you can't do that. It's not cost effective. So get an idea how far the stone quarry is, and then call around and get your hourly rates for trucks hauling stone for you all for full days. Because for 4 days in a row, I had a truck going non-stop from sunup to close. So that's one of the main things to consider when bidding your stone price.